Hello and welcome to the Joy Holiday Channel. Christmas originated as a celebration of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, whose spiritual teachings formed the basis of one of the world's best-known religions. For millions of Christians around the world, it's this beginning that they hold in their hearts as the true meaning of Christmas. However, over the centuries, people from many backgrounds, both religious and secular, have adopted Christmas as a global cultural experience that's as rich and complex as humanity itself. The name Christmas comes to us from Middle and Old English words, first recorded in the year 1038, that means Christ's Mass. In the Middle Ages, that's the way they described the annual church gathering to remember the birth of Jesus. Even though no one knows the real birthday, which may have been in the spring, why else would shepherds have been hanging around? It was Pope Julius I who established the 25th of December as the official nativity. A share of the credit goes to the Roman Emperor Constantine, who likely had political reasons to popularize Christmas by connecting it to the Roman feast of Saturnalia and the elaborate pagan winter solstice festival of centuries past. You'd never know it today, but it used to be that Christmas was a minor holiday in the Christian church calendar, with Easter being the biggest annual religious celebration. In North America, Christmas revelry was actually frowned on by early European settlers like the Pilgrims, and it didn't really catch on as a full-fledged holiday until the 1800s in the United States. December 25th became an official federal Christmas holiday in the United States in the year 1870. When it was signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant. Another place the diversity of Christmas shows up is in the iconic symbols we've come to expect. From the evolution of Santa Claus to the greenery of trees and wreaths, to pop culture characters like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Charles Dickens' Mr. Scrooge, and Dr. Seuss's Grumpy Grinch. Let's start with Santa himself, known around the world by other names such as Father Christmas, Grandfather Frost, Jolly Old Saint Nick, or SINTERKLAAS. Today's kindly generous grandfatherly version is mostly a product of magazine artists and advertising executives from the 1930s and 40s. Before that, early European versions could be frightening and were as quick to deliver scary punishment to bad children as they were to reward the good ones. There actually was a real St. Nicholas, the model for our modern-day Santa, who lived around the same time as Pope Julius I and Emperor Constantine. He was born in Greece, in a region that's now part of Turkey, and became a Christian bishop while he was still a young man. Nicholas was passionate about caring for the poor, and stories of his generosity became legend. The gifts he would drop through open windows would often land in the shoes set out to dry before winter fires, which is where we get the tradition of hanging out stockings on Christmas Eve in hopes of a blessing from St. Nick. In one way or another, all the greenery we see at Christmas time symbolizes the hope of the return of spring and the Christian idea of spiritual renewal and eternal life. Holly leaves are a reminder of the crown of thorns worn by Jesus at the time of his crucifixion. The use of Christmas trees started in Europe, first recorded in Latvia in the 1500s, and later came to the United States by way of immigrants from Western Germany. Trees were significant to many ancient cultures, as showed up in all kinds of pagan practices that fascinated early Christians. Their first adaptation were simple pyramids of wooden shelves decorated with iconic figurines, bits of evergreen plants, and communion wafers. So it's easy to see how these simple trimmings evolved into the dazzling variety of today's tree ornaments. Now, at the risk of ruining a holiday favorite, there's something you should know about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This beloved star of Christmas songs, books, cartoons, and movies is pretty much an assumed part of our shared Christmas memories in the United States. His real origin story is a lot less romantic than the one in the popular song. Rudolph was the creation of an advertising copywriter named Robert L. May. He dreamed Rudolph up for a giveaway book that was designed in 1939 to boost newspaper coverage for the Montgomery Ward department store chain. That brings us to an important question. Which came first, Christmas or commercialism? The truth is, except for its deep origin in early Judeo-Christian tradition, there's really never been a time when Christmas was not commercial. People have been making money on the holiday from its modern start. So what is it that we feel this nostalgic longing for? What we're remembering is our own collected childhood experiences. When we're kids, we're insulated from the adult business of making Christmas happen. For just a few short years, we're free to experience the pure sensory joy of Christmas without having to worry about where it all comes from. So in short, Christmas didn't become commercial because a corrupt, grinchy corporation stole it from our grandparents. Whether we remember this moment or not, Christmas became commercial when we grew up and had to make the experience real for others. And that's the good news, because all you have to do to make Christmas magical again is pause for a moment and give yourself time to remember what made it magical for you when you were small. You can choose to follow family traditions from years gone by or create some new ones. Baking and decorating sugar cookies, watching holiday movies, or listening to special Christmas time stories like "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" can all evoke the warm nostalgic feeling that can make Christmas, as slogans often say, the most wonderful time of the year. And as you're trying to capture all of the festive spirit and make it special for your family, don't forget about your community. Consider picking up an extra present or food for one of the many charitable drives this season. Keep an extra blanket in your car for someone you see in need, or let someone know that you're thinking of them with a call, card, or text. Remember, the holidays can be extra lonely for the elderly and displaced. Whether you string thousands of lights on your home, go caroling down the street, visit a midnight church service, or just sit in your pajamas drinking hot cocoa and watching TV, we wish you a Merry Christmas. That's the story of Christmas. We're all about joy, happiness, and holidays. To keep up with all the best holiday ideas and fun histories, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and follow us on Twitter @JoeH Channel.